Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Predicament TRS edition. One of the things that has come up with a lot of our climbing friends and some requests that we've been getting is, what do I do about finger recovery? So I have a lot of climbing friends who are spending a lot of time not climbing right now and a lot of time in their house bouldering. And what do we do when we have a swollen finger? What do we do when we are having pain in a finger? How do we manage that? So this is a perfect opportunity to take a second, show you how we treat a swollen finger, but more importantly, illustrate a really important principle. So in your body, you have these little bands of connective tissue called retinaculae. And the retinaculum is just basically a band of connective tissue that wraps around specific aspects of your joint, your wrist, your ankle are good examples of these. And what ends up happening is they keep the tendons from bowstringing. So if I didn't have this little band of connective tissue, when I flex my finger, it would go from here all the way to my elbow, crank, right? Even though that would be a really strange system. So we have all these little pulleys, these little kind of levers, but the problem with them is that they end up trapping a lot of congestion on the other side of that. And so one of the issues, for example, with swelling in the hand is that we've got all of these little retinaculae, right? And then we've got another one right here at the wrist. And so the hand often will get congested, and what we see is that it's difficult to get that congestion beyond. And this is one of the problems we see when people become sensitized, develop irritation in the nervous tissues that run through this carpal tunnel. When we're congested here, these little tiny spaces create a lot of pressure in this nervous system. Same thing is true with your ankle. So if you have a swollen ankle, that ankle is always at the bottom of a gravity well. One of the problems is that it's difficult to get that enough muscle movement to decongest that foot through the lymphatic system if I have sprained it or turned it, and I have this basically a rubber band at the top of that ankle, right at the base of the ankle at the top of the foot, which prevents a lot of easy fluid transfer. I'll give you a quick example. If you just roll out a 1.5 foot section or so, if you can get it to cut, a little tricky, whatever you've got on hand will work. Don't kill yourself. But the idea here, let's rip that, is to be able to split this down the middle and just need about a 1 centimeter section of this so we can get this to tear. A little bit of 1 centimeter section of this thing. And what we're going to do here is, if you have this 1 centimeter little section, and we actually have one of these already cut and we keep in our drawer, because every once in a while, one of our kids gets something swollen, or they get an infected finger or a little cut. And one of the things that you can appreciate for sure is that when you have a painful finger, it can wake you up at night throbbing. And it's amazing what all of the pressure on those nerve endings in your fingers can do to your brain in telling you that this is a critical emergency. And the reason is that the hand takes up such a large part of your space to be able to manipulate the world. So your brain is wired for this hand, and so it has a lot of free nerve endings, obviously. So all you need is about a section like this. You're going to start at the tip of the finger, and the idea here is to get a good wrap and just do our 50% tension, 50% overlap. And what we're trying to do is wrap from the fingertip upwards. And all you need to do, 50% tension, 50% wrap, is compress the crap out of this thing and feel until it doesn't feel good anymore. So if I can get some motion, that's even better, right? You can elevate the hand, but this high level intermittent compression when we have a swollen finger or overworked finger can be radical. Pop the band off, and what you'll see is already I've got little marks here, and all I'm doing is pushing that congestion past each one of these little retinaculum. And this allows me then to just force that fluid out. And what you'll see is that you can restore that motion. And a lot of the pain that we're seeing from fingers having a fingernail cut too short, or you cut yourself and the finger swells. This technique can even be used to remove a wedding ring on someone, or a ring when the finger is really swollen. What you can do is you can compress past and then get that swelling to come down and then remove the wedding ring. There are a couple great tricks even using a rubber band on the internet. But the idea here is when you have this tool and appreciate what the mechanism is, where sometimes congestion or swelling gets trapped on the wrong side of a retinaculum and I can't get enough movement, or I'm not moving a lot, or wake up in the morning, my hands are really stiff. This is an easy way to take care of your hands, take care of those tissues when we're behind. Grab yourself a voodoo band, cut a 1 centimeter strip. Climbers, this is for you. But artists, anyone who has to use their hands a ton, and you feel what you wake up the next morning and your hands are cooked, this is for you guys. See you guys on the next one.